Howdy folks, Nathan Adlin here with the Fast Lane car, and behind me, the 2016 Mercedes-Benz GLC and the 2017 Cadillac XT5. Both of these vehicles start around $39,000, and they compete in one of the most competitive classes out there. I'm a little bit of a fanboy of Mercedes-Benz, and that's because some of the engineering and mechanics they've had over the years have been, well, rather extraordinary. But one thing that a lot of people in North America don't know is that they build really good small displacement engines, including this one, which is a 2-liter turbo that puts out 241 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque. Now, it's fed through a 9-speed automatic transmission to the rear wheels, but in this case, it has a 4MATIC system, which means it's all-wheel drive. Now, here's the best part. Despite the fact that it has that much power coming through a 4-cylinder engine, it still gets a combined 24 mpg. I love the power. It's excellent. It's torque. It's just, you can really feel it deep down. It just pulls you along. Effortless. At high elevation, cars tend to lose a lot of power, but up here, this thing doesn't feel like it's lost a step. Steering feel is great. The ride is good, but there are a few issues, one of which is wind noise from the mirrors. Behold, 310 horsepower, 271 pound-feet of torque, all coming through a 3.6-liter V6 that's hooked up to an 8-speed automatic transmission going to the front wheels, but being that this has an all-wheel drive system, you can channel it to the back. Now, that's awesome, but what's not so awesome? 21 miles per gallon combined. That's on the low end of the spectrum. Now, this is a relatively quick machine. I actually enjoyed driving it around. But I bet you're wondering how quick it really is. Well, if you're really curious about that, we do have a video on TFL Now that pits this baby against the Mercedes. I really do not like the gear lever in this Cadillac XT5. It's overcomplicated. It's trying to mimic the German designs because it's taking a very simple system, park neutral drive, and making it overcomplicated. Cadillac did the same thing. In order to go in reverse, you have to grab the gear lever, hit a button, then switch it all the way over to the left in order to get into reverse. If you want to park, you have to hit a separate button. You want to go into drive, you pull it all the way back while pushing the button. The good news is this transmission is pretty smooth. The only time it seems to lose itself is when it's slowing down to 0 or taking off from a dead stop. There seems to be a little bit of a hesitation, almost a clunky feel. Some of it, I think, has to do with the start-stop system. It simply has to catch up with itself and take off. Let's talk about style. I know I'm not exactly the guy who is styling. Roman's the one who's able to get away with wearing pink polo shirts with the collar turned up, but still, look at the Cadillac. First of all, kudos to Cadillac for going from the SRX, which was okay looking, to what I think is a very strong looking front end. And definitely, you can't mistake it for anything else but a Cadillac. Mercedes-Benz has gone the softer route. And frankly, as much as I like it, it does look a little bit like its baby brother, the GLA. Follow me to the sides, because this is where the big difference is. See how everything is nice and kind of marshmallowy, kind of like me? Well, on the Cadillac, everything is very solid and very direct. Have fine looking wheels, but this is the most important spot. This is the business end, the tush slap. But I'll tell you this car is fun and it's relatively frugal, and if you're careful with your add-ons, you can get one for a pretty decent price. And I hate to say it, Cadillac, but when it comes to the snoot value, this vehicle wins in that realm as well. And it actually sounds pretty good too, if you like the sound of a 4-cylinder engine gurgling along. You guys ready? You guys set? This one takes a double click. This one holds for a couple seconds. Let's see if I can do these about the same time. Go! Pretty close. And Mercedes wins, just by a hair. I wonder if it's the same going down. Once again, 1 click, but you gotta hold it. 2 clicks. Here we go, ready? set, go. I think I did about the same time as well. And once again, the Mercedes closes faster, but the Mercedes is a smaller vehicle. Engine notes, it's okay. But the steering feel is actually okay, and it goes around a corner nicely. But it still feels like a much bigger vehicle than the Mercedes. So did they build a vehicle that absolutely wins its class? No, this won't win its class, but it is an improvement over the SRX. And I mean, it's a real improvement over the SRX. This is where Cadillac runs away with it, back here. 30 cubic feet of space with the seats up, 63 cubic feet of space with the seats down. And here's the cool part. They actually have this divider system that slides these rails back and forth, and it works beautifully. It's really, really well thought out and beautifully executed. There's also, underneath here, a full-size spare tire. That vehicle, the Mercedes, doesn't come with one. 20.5 cubic feet of space. It's not a lot. Now, if you drop the rear seats, it goes to 56.5 cubic feet of space, which is much better. But in terms of the overall shape and size, it is much more compact than the Cadillac. I gotta tell you, Ricardo Montalban did not have a thing on this type of leather. It is fantastic. Another thing, this open pore wood, which you can really feel the texture of it, is beautiful. They did a fantastic job with the interior design up front. Yet, they kind of blew it in the back because there is this really, really cheap piece of plastic that goes around the rear vents, and I don't understand what Mercedes was thinking when they did that. But here's what I do get. You get one of the most technologically advanced vehicles out there. It is absolutely jam-packed with electronic driving aids. You'd be hard-pressed to find another vehicle that brings you so close to autonomy without actually being autonomous. Cadillac has really made some strides in the right direction. The interior altogether has a much better fit. But with that being said, there are a few spots where there's plastic that's kind of sharp. Even in here in the door panel area, where you would reach to grab, that's not where you want unfinished plastics. Now, here's a real positive. The heads-up display in this vehicle is fantastic. Finally, Cadillac is done with having a green on black display popping up on the screen that looks like it's from the 80s. Overall comfort is excellent. Back seat room is some of the best out there. The rear seats recline and they can move back and forward. I have here the Moroni, or the sticker, for each vehicle. And even though they both start at around $39,000, that's not where they end as tested. For instance, the Mercedes-Benz, it goes all the way up to $58,470 as tested. The Cadillac, which is the Platinum Edition, by the way, so it's very top, it comes in at $63,845. Ouch. Both vehicles are really good. The Cadillac is excellent for on-highway driving. It's extremely comfortable and very quiet. The Mercedes isn't as quiet and it's not quite as comfortable, but it's much more zoomy and fun to drive around town, and it's a little bit more entertaining altogether. So which one would I choose? Well, the Mercedes-Benz. I like the way it drives. It's a lot of fun. For the Fast Lane Car, this is Nathan Evans. Don't forget to go to tflcar.com for news, views, and real-world reviews. See you next time.
If you're looking to save on your fuel costs, there are two obvious and somewhat affordable choices, at least compared to pure electric. There's this. It's a 2016 Toyota RAV4 Hybrid. And there's this. It's a 2016 Jeep Grand Cherokee Diesel. Now, of course, these two vehicles don't compete. One is a hybrid, one is a diesel, but they do compete when it comes to how much money you'll save at the pump. Now, the RAV4 is supposed to get 31 mpg on the highway, and this Jeep, 28. So, let's find out which of these two is the better alternative by mashing them up on a 100-mile mpg.